Welcome back. In our last video, we talked about the difference between connotation and denotation. Let's do a quick vocabulary review, shall we? Denotation means the express or direct meaning of a word or expression. Connotation refers to the ideas or emotions a word invokes in addition to its literal or primary meaning. So at this point, we need to start learning how to use our knowledge of word connotations to improve the word choice in our writing. First of all, let me say right up front that this is an extremely complex skill. It's difficult because it requires a writer to have a lot of experience and contextual background knowledge. Early writers might not even be aware of a difference in connotation between two words. And a word can have different connotations to different groups of people. So the writer has to develop a deep understanding of political and ideological context. The reality is, in a 5-minute video, I don't have time to teach you the vocabulary and cultural background knowledge you'd need in order to use word connotations as effectively as, say, Martin Luther King Jr. did. But we can get you started on the path of using connotation as the powerful writing tool it can be. At this stage, we're going to keep it pretty basic. So let's start with a basic truth. Anytime you write something, you are trying to manipulate your audience. I hesitate to use the word manipulation because it has a negative connotation. Most of us see manipulating people as a bad thing. But in reality, that's exactly what you're doing. You're trying, carefully and deliberately, to influence your audience to react and think in a certain way. And if you're trying to manipulate someone, emotions are key. You all know this because, admit it, you have a lot of experience trying to manipulate other people in your life.
Mr. English teacher? Yeah, could we, not study famous speeches today? I mean, what if we just watch a movie instead? Please, you'd be the coolest English teacher ever.
First, no, but nice try. And second, thank you for illustrating my point. You want to persuade me to give you an easy day in class. And to do that, you're trying to manipulate me through my emotional need to be liked and approved of. You can use a variety of emotions to influence your reader, and they're all powerful in their own way. In order to start using word connotations as a tool, we're going to oversimplify the concept of connotation and just talk in terms of positive and negative. Please remember that word connotations are much more complex than that. We're keeping it simple here with the understanding that your knowledge will deepen over time. Step 1. Know what you are trying to persuade your audience to do or think and why. This might seem simple and obvious, but it's not. I've done mock trials in class and had student lawyers get halfway through questioning a witness and realize they've forgotten what point they were trying to prove. And I see the same thing in essays all the time. Step 2, know your audience. What is important to your audience? What do they want? What attitudes or biases do they bring to the table? Step 3, use word connotations to help your audience feel positively toward your argument and negatively toward any counter-arguments. Let's go back to our previous example, FDR's Day of Infamy speech about the attack on Pearl Harbor during World War II. Imagine that we are helping FDR revise his speech. Look at our word options in this sentence from the speech. Before we make our word choices here, let's think about what we're trying to convince the audience to think. We want them to feel negatively about Japan and the attack on Pearl Harbor, and positively about the American military, so we can convince them to support a declaration of war. And let's think about our audience. What do we know about them? They're patriotic, they don't want war, but they're also angry and sad and maybe a little scared after the attack. Now, let's make our word choices based on connotations. Between the words well-planned and premeditated, which word would you choose? The expression well-planned is definitely accurate. The surprise attack was obviously planned out meticulously. But this term has no emotional connotation. In fact, if anything, it might come across as slightly positive. On the other hand, when you think of the word premeditated, what comes to mind? If you're like me, you might associate that word with the term premeditated murder or some other crime. And you understand that a crime being premeditated makes it that much worse. For that reason, most of us have some negative emotions connected to the word premeditated. So if we refer to the Japanese invasion as premeditated, we encourage the audience to feel more negatively about it. How about the second set of words? The word righteous is usually tied to images of God and faith. And while not everyone in America is religious, Most people associate the word righteous with positive emotions. The word ethical can mean the exact same thing as righteous, but it doesn't have such strongly positive emotions connected to it. So in this case, righteous is probably a more effective choice because we can encourage our audience to associate those positive emotions with the idea of the American military entering the war.
No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
This is one of those concepts that will make a lot more sense after you've practiced it a little. It's time to go to work.
Might as well